Hi there. So this is a basic tutorial on how to use Google Drive. Now, please don't stop watching right away because even if you think you know how to functionally use Google Drive, these are some things that I've learned over the years that I think are the most core things that you need to know to not get frustrated with Drive and to be able to not only create, but also to organize and save your files and find them again later so you don't, again, get frustrated and have trouble finding your files. Um, so Google Drive is a basic cloud storage application, and the great thing about cloud storage is you can access your files anywhere at home, on any device, on your phone, on a laptop, on a computer, whatever. And then also that you can share and collaborate with people and do that from Google Drive. Also, the autosave feature. Back in the day, I used to work on files and you had to click File Save periodically, or if something happened, your computer shut down, or something, there was some interference with your Wi Fi or your internet, you would lose large chunks of work. And so, Google Drive really saves things almost real time. So, you're just not going to lose a lot of work no matter what happens. And also, your files are backed up. So, if anything goes wrong, you can usually find those files somewhere. Also, the search capability. So, you can search Drive and find things. Now, with that having been said, when I first started using Google Drive, I would just have a bunch of stray files in my drive. You can notice that have a lot of folders created now, and I've organized a lot of things. And I do try to keep things cleaned up where I delete things periodically if I just know I'm not going to use them anymore and just try to be diligent about that. But when I first started out, I just had all these kind of loose files in here, and it was really hard for me to find things. I might not remember what I named them all the time. And so, even when I used this search field up here and typed in a file name, if I didn't remember exactly what it was called, sometimes Drive had a hard time locating it. And again, it would be frustrating. So, here are a few things to kind of note that will really kind of help you avoid that. So the first thing that I want to draw your attention to is the new button. Again, sometimes we even are familiar with these functions in an application, but we've never really paid attention to everything they can do. So the first thing I would recommend if you don't have any folders created is create some of those folders and start dragging and dropping your loose documents into folders, or even renaming your documents that you have in here in a way that's just easier for you to remember and find them again later. But folders can really help you with that because especially if you're like me and you've got like just hundreds and hundreds of files in here that I store, I'm just not always going to remember the name of the file. So creating these folders can set up categories for you so that you can open those up and go, oh yeah, that's what I called that document, and find it more easily. So set up your file folder system with the simplest, shortest names you can. You may even want to designate certain folders for certain years, just so you kind of remember, oh, you may have an English class for 4 years, but maybe you want to designate this as my English stuff from this year. Okay, so new button, click it. And then start creating those new folders. So I'm going to click on this new folder just for our demonstration purposes. I'm going to create a demo folder. And then I'm going to click the create button. Okay, so there it is highlighted for me. And now I can start dragging and dropping different files that I would like that maybe are already existing that I want to organize. And it's going to go a little slow because the screencast. I know it's going into the right folder. Be careful because you could accidentally drop it into some surrounding folder and then have trouble finding it. But I'm going to drop it into the demo folder, and I can see it's going there because it kind of darkened it or highlighted it. I can double check it by opening that folder up. There it is, and use the back arrow to go back. Or I could click my drive to go back to the main drive. Okay, so new button again. So now that I've created my folder, I can also upload things from my whatever device I'm on if I want to start getting organized. So let's say I have some things on my desktop or on my computer hard drive or my computer's documents that I want to upload to that folder. I can click File Upload. Mine's going to my desktop, but of course, depending on what kind of computer, I'm on a Mac, but you would just navigate to your hard drive or your desktop or wherever you're going. I'm gonna go ahead and select a single file from my from my desktop, but I could also select a folder to drop into that folder. So you can have folders within folders. So I'm just going to do a single document to cut down on time. It'll upload a little faster. So I'm going to double click this little black poodle document, upload it. I had already uploaded that document actually, so it asked me if I wanted to replace it. But anyway, this will be your progress window. It'll show you if it's still uploading or if you have to wait a little bit longer. But right now it's showing me that it's complete. So now I'm going to find it in my loose documents. So now again, I can drag and drop. I can also click these three little buttons and use the make a copy of it. I can rename it if I'm trying to, again, kind of increase my organization. I can share it, but I can also move it. And so if I want to go ahead and organize it, click the organization button and I can move it, click move. And then it's going to allow me to select whatever folder I want to put it in. Here it's going to show me my current folder that it's in. But I can select, like, for example, if I have shared drives or any place else I want to put it, but I want to put it in my drive. So I'm looking for that demo folder. It's right here at the top. I'm going to click that folder. And if I have folders within folders, I can even click this arrow and move it into individual folders that I've got in this folder. So right now I just want to move it to the demo folder. So I'm going to click move. Okay, again, I can double check it. And there's that document. Okay, again, I can go backspace or I can go back to my drive, either way, to return to the main drive. Okay, so again, back to the new button. And I can also create an original document. So I can select from any of these applications, or I can click more and I'm going to get an additional kind of hidden drop down. I can add additional, apps that I want to work out of to create documents. But I'm going to go ahead and just add an original Google Doc. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and um, I could just double click this, or I can like hover over this little arrow and it gives me an option to do a blank document or from a template. I'm just going to do a blank document. It's going to open up another tab with whatever document and application I'm creating the document in. Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to title that so it's something I will remember. It's as brief as possible. And so I want to go up here in the left-hand corner, and the first thing I want to do is name it. Okay, so I'm going to go Demo Doc 1. Okay, and let's say I type whatever I'm typing here. And then if I want to make sure, now right now it's auto-saved it. So if I go to my drive, if I look, I'm going to see that demo doc right here. Okay, but since I'm creating folders and I'm trying to stay organized, I want to go ahead and it's just good practice to name your doc and then move it into a file right away so you don't forget. So I'm going to go ahead and click File, Move. And again, I can select other drives like shared drives or other things, but I'm going to go to that demo folder that's in my main drive. So I'm going to scroll until I see demo. There's the demo folder. And again, I just click it and I can move it here, or I could click this little arrow if I have additional folders inside that folder and move it. Now I know that it's not just coming up loose, like with a bunch of other documents in my folder. I know it's going to be in that demo folder. Again, really useful. In addition to trying to keep your file names brief and something descriptive that even dates, that it will help you locate those folders or remember those file names. Now it really just cuts down my search and really helps me find those things again. Okay, let's say I name a document something or a folder something and I want to rename it. Obviously, if I go into that document, I can open it up and rename it in the corner, but I can also go to these three little dots, go rename, and rename it something else and say okay. I can also do the same thing with the demo folder. I can click the three little dots and go rename demo folder. Let's say I want to go 23, 24 so that it's got the year in there. Whoops, typo. 2, 24. And then select OK, and it renames it for me. Okay. So let's say I'm trying to locate those files again. Maybe it's been a few weeks and maybe I've kind of forgotten some things. So, one of the things you can do is look through your recents. So, if you click this little file here after you open up your drive, it will show you the documents you've worked most recently on. Back in your drive, too, to kind of cut down your search, you can also use these little buttons here. So, you can go, I'm just looking for documents. It's just going to display your documents. Same thing for like presentations or videos that you're looking for. Again, narrowing down your search. You can click here and search for people. Like, let's say a classmate or a teacher shared a document with you. You could type in their Google ID, like their email, their school email, or their name, and look for it. And it'll show you everything that that person has shared with you. You can also use this modify document. So let's say it's something that you changed yesterday, but you can't exactly remember what it was. So you can select by time frame, like the last time you modified or changed that document. So you can kind of narrow it by time period. And then, of course, you can use the good old search option where you type in the name of your file. Let's say you've got a lot of things in, let's see. Let's say you've got a lot of things in your drive, you could also open up an individual folder. Like, you're like, I know I have it in my Google Classroom folder, but I got a lot of stuff in there. And then do the search, and that can kind of narrow down your search as well. So you're looking for that document. So I could go, let's see, maybe I don't remember exactly what it's called, but demo doc. And there it's coming up for me, and I can click that. And there's that document for me. Okay, so last thing I wanted to show you is, again, part of staying organized and keeping everything all cleaned up is deleting any documents that or folders that you're not using anymore, and try to do that periodically so you can kind of stay organized. So same thing with as when we renamed the folder or the document. If you click this little three buttons here, I can also move this stuff to trash. Other things here as far as moving it to a different place, or I can share it with somebody. I can download it to my computer, rename it, get file information as far as details about like when I last modified it or somebody else did if I'm collaborating. But if I just want to get rid of it, I can go ahead and move it to trash. Now I've got 30 days. If I make a mistake and delete something, to relocate that again in my archive. That'll be a whole other lesson, or you can ask me how if you make a mistake. But I'm going to go ahead. So, you should try to be careful about this, but you've got about a month to realize you made a mistake. So I'm going to go ahead and move that to trash. And that clears it out of my drive. So I can try to keep my drive clean, organized, and make it more easy for myself in the future to find documents that are really important to me later. Okay, so hope that helps, and let me know if you have any questions.